good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we have some unfortunate news as the highly anticipated all-British showdown between two-division world champion, United Kingdom superstar, world champion, Amir King Kong, and former IBF welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Special K Kell Brook, that's scheduled to take place in February 19th to be exact, is in danger of not coming to fruition. This is a fight that has been in the making for about 9 years, since Amir Khan had become a welterweight, okay? And even before he became a welterweight, Kell Brook was calling out Amir Khan. They had a glorified sparring session in which Kell Brook said he got the better of Amir Khan. Amir Khan said he got the better of Kell Brook. And they both were mega superstars at one point in time in their careers, okay? Amir Khan, after he beat, I want to say when he, after he beat Julio Diaz back in 2013, okay? And he fought Luis Collazo for the vacant WBC silver and the WBA title at welterweight. It's truly at that point in time became a reality because he was now a welterweight. Now, Amir Khan, 34 wins, 5 losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout. He himself have been knocked out 4 times in his career. He's 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 71-inch arm reach, okay? With that said, Kell Brook is 39 wins, 3 losses, no draws, 27 big wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 3 times in his career. Kell Brook is 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach, okay? So Kell Brook, he won the title against Showtime Shawn Porter. That was back in 2014. So around that time, when that 2013, 2014 time, that's when we started hearing true rumblings of Kell Brook versus Amir Khan for a possible, all United Kingdom mega showdown, okay, at the welterweight division. When Kell Brook was the world champion, Amir Khan had already been knocked out by Danny Garcia. He already lost to Lamont Peterson, and he already had been knocked out by Bredis Prescott at that point in time. So he had been knocked out twice and had a loss on his resume. So, but nonetheless, Amir Khan still had a mega massive following, okay? A huge following for Amir Khan. And so with that said, Kell Brook was undefeated. He had just beaten 2-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter, who's a future surefire Hall of Famer. For Kell Brook's first opportunity at a world title, he beat Shawn Porter for the IBF title. And this fight started to gain a lot of traction. And it came off as if Amir Khan never wanted to fight. Kell Brook is a big, strong welterweight who has power, who is technically sound, and he is very, very disciplined in the ring. Beautiful jab and has great timing. And Amir Khan is the flashy. He's the Flash. You got the thunder and lightning, right? Amir Khan represents the Flash. The fast, flashy, fancy hand speed. The combination punching. He does have respected power. He utilizes the ring. So he's the one that's more twitchy, okay, more athletically gifted. But we know that timing and power beats speed, okay? And Kell Brook has great timing and he has great power. He has very good power. And Kell Brook, he's technically sound, okay? And he's big, he's strong, and he's disciplined. And that's what beats Amir Khan. So Amir Khan kept putting off this fight. Amir Khan was the one that continued to, not allow the fight to come to fruition. Amir Khan, he stated, that he just wanted to be a world champion. He was chasing the likes of legendary, iconic, retired Hall of Famer and Floyd Money Mayweather, 5-division world champion, former pound-for-pound king. He was also chasing a fight with legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer, Manny Pacquiao. Those were the guys he was chasing. Amir Khan was aggressively and actively pursuing fights with him was Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and he continued to tell the world that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, he could beat both guys, and that they were both ducking him and avoiding him. So, those were the fights that Amir Khan was seeking out. At one point in time, he was even seeking out a fight with 4-division world champion superstar boxer Adrian the Problem Broner. Okay, so he wanted the big names here in the state. He didn't want to go back to the UK and face off against Kell Brook. He continued to downplay Kell Brook. Okay, he never gave Kell Brook much credit. He downplayed him. There's definitely some tension there, and there's definitely some a huge rivalry there. Not some, but a huge rivalry there. Okay, and so Amir Khan, he never secured the Manny Pacquiao fight. And he was Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner a few times, and there was talk that he got the better of Manny Pacquiao in sparring. But then, he faced the likes of, Luis Collazo, and he was badly hurt in the fight with Luis Collazo, but he weathered the storm, got a unanimous decision. Then he beat Devin Alexander for the WBC silver welterweight title, and that's when the talk between himself and Kell Brook really, really ramped up. And he didn't take the fight, okay? Now, he beat Devin Alexander, unanimous decision, dominated Devin Alexander. Then he fought against Chris Algieri, okay? And for the WBC silver title again on the line. And he won the fight against Chris Algieri, but he's shown a lot of flaws, a lot of vulnerabilities in that fight. And he won that fight. Then there was talks of him going and facing Kell Brook at that point in time. And Amir Khan, he entertained it as if he was going to take on Kell Brook. This was back in 2015, going in 2016 year. He toyed with the idea of possibly facing Kell Brook in an all United Kingdom showdown. And then he decided, no, he was going to dare to be great. 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez knocked on his door at 160. And Amir Khan jumped up from 147 to 160 and challenged Canelo Alvarez, okay? And he did, have a lot of success in the fight against Canelo Alvarez, okay? A lot of people thought he was winning the first 4 or 5 rounds against Canelo Alvarez. This was back in May of 2016. But then Canelo Alvarez eventually timed Amir Khan, and Amir Khan is not known to have the sturdiest of chins. And then Amir Khan was brutally knocked out by Canelo Alvarez, daring to be great. So he didn't have many fights at the welterweight division, but he had won some interim titles, vacant silver titles, and things of that nature. And then at the same time, Kell Brook, he decided to be great and follow in the footsteps of Amir Khan in September. Okay, now he had beat a few guys in the UK. He beat, Inu Dan Eon. Then he beat Frankie Gavin, Kevin Bezier, defending his IBF title. But Amir Khan dared to be great, and they were trying to one-up each other. So he faced against Canelo Alvarez at 160. Amir Khan did. He was brutally knocked out in May. But then in September of 2016, Kell Brook, he followed in the footsteps of Amir Khan, and he too jumped up 2 weight classes from 147 to 160 to challenge then unified, reigning, undefeated middleweight Ukrainian superstar Triple G, Gennady Triple G Golovkin, in September of 2016. And he was brutally knocked out. That's when he suffered a broken orbital bone. Badly injured in the fight, suffered the broken orbital bone, and was never the same since. Okay, then 9 months after that, he defended his title against his IBF mandatory and Errol Spence Jr. Now, Errol Spence, he was calling for a fight with Kell Brook at that time. He was his mandatory, and Kell Brook was avoiding Errol Spence, and he dared to be great. He moved up too, and he suffered a broken orbital bone and was stopped in the fight. And again, just like Amir Khan, Kell Brook had a lot of success against Gennady Triple G Golovkin in the first couple of rounds. He was actually winning. He actually hurt Gennady Golovkin. But the size, the power, and the timing of Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez, it overshadowed any success that they were having, and they both was brutally knocked out and injured in those fights. And neither guy was the same after that. After which Gennady Golovkin, I said Kell Brook, after the Gennady Golovkin fight, Kell Brook fought Errol Spence Jr. 9 months later in the UK, defended his title. Errol Spence broke his other orbital bone. So, after that, he wasn't the same. He fought against Radchenko, Zafara, and Mike DeLuca. Once he won 3 times in 2 times in 2018, once in 2020. Then he came back down to welterweight. So he moved up to 154, stated that coming down to welterweight from 160 was too much in such a short period of time, losing so much muscle. It hurt him, so he'd rather stay at 154. So he had those 3 fights after the Errol Spence fight at 154. And then most recently, in November of last year, he came back down to 47, took on Terrence Crawford. Once again, he had success in the first couple of rounds, and then he got knocked out again in the 6th round of their fight. So with that said, Amir Khan was starting his road to come back after the Canelo Alvarez knockout. He took a 2-year hiatus. Okay, he came back in 2018 against Phil LaGreco. He won a TKO. Then he fought against Samuel Vargas. In another fight, he was floored a few times in that fight against Samuel Vargas in September 2018. Dropped in the fight, hurt badly a few times. Nonetheless, he weathered the storm, got a unanimous decision victory. But then he fought in 2019, in April of 2019. He fights against Terrence Crawford. And ultimately, in the Terrence Crawford fight, he was stopped in the Terrence Crawford fight. He ultimately quit in the Terrence Crawford fight. You could clearly see he stated that he got hit in the thigh. And once he got hit in the thigh against Terrence Crawford, he stated that, he simply, he stated that he got hit in the thigh against Terrence Crawford, and he couldn't no longer continue. He stated that it was a low blow. Then he stated that he got hit in the thigh and he just simply couldn't continue. And ultimately he quit in the fight. Okay. Terrence Crawford got the victory at Madison Square Garden on pay-per-view. Then he came back, August of, he came back in August of 2020, and he took on Billy Dibbs. He won TKO over Billy Dibbs, and he hadn't been active since then. And now he's going to schedule a fight against Kell Brook. But now, due to a global pandemic and due to the United Kingdom shutting down all of boxing in January, and possibly now looking to shut down boxing in February if things don't get better from here on out, now you're looking at this fight possibly being postponed. And when you're dealing with Amir Khan, there's no guarantee that Amir Khan will even come back to the negotiation table, because it seems like Amir Khan had to be somewhat willed into this fight to take with Kell Brook, because again, it's been 8-9 years in the making that this fight has been being talked about and hasn't come to fruition. So with that said, now Frank Warren, legendary United Kingdom Queensberry Promotions CEO, founder, Frank Warren, he is not happy that the United Kingdom has decided to suspend all boxing, all sports activities, especially boxing, all the way across the board for the month of January. And it's looking like it could possibly be suspended in February. And this fight is scheduled to take place, again, like I said, February 19th. And when you suspend a fight of this magnitude, and it reported broke records, I believe it stole 36,000 tickets in the first 2 hours or something like that, because this fight has been highly anticipated in the United Kingdom for quite some time. And now they're talking about suspending this fight, and possibly postponing it and pushing it back without a real solid foundation of when it's going to happen. And the fact that it seems like Amir Khan never wanted this fight with Kell Brook to begin with, you might not be able to get Amir Khan back to the negotiation table. You may not get Amir Khan to agree with this fight. So we may lose this mega massive fight between Kell Brook and Amir Khan, although they're both 35. Although many people feel like this fight is far past it, it's still an entertaining fight. It's still somebody's going to get knocked out. Most likely it'll be Amir Khan. And it's still a fight where that's highly anticipated. And you see two guys that are very big names from the UK in this fight, and people want to see it, and they're eager to see these two in the ring and how it plays out and how it ends, and finally close the chapter on this long standing rivalry. So we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.